It's been said once before that if the effects of exercise could be prescribed in a bottle, it would be the most effective antidepressant in the world. What's up, everybody? My name is Tyler. Thank you so much for tuning in. In this video, we are going to talk about exercise, we are going to talk about depression, and we're going to talk about how do we exercise while in a depressed state, if we do so at all. There's three specific things that I'm going to talk about, three specific strategies that I've devised that revolve around my outlook and perspective towards exercising during a depressive state. And the number one thing I've come to learn is that doing anything is better than nothing, right? Anything is infinitely better than nothing. And so this means different things for different people. In my case, at my highest weight, I weighed 354 pounds. This was the result of years long depressive episode in the aftermath of a bipolar manic episode. I went from 180 to 354 in just the span of a couple years. And I'm at 299 now. I'm moving in the right direction. I've gotten 55 pounds off, but it's not easy. And there's days where I don't feel capable of doing as much as I usually am capable of doing. So, like right now, for this month of February, I set the goal of doing 15,000 steps a day. I'm barely averaging 10,000. But I'm okay with that because I know that the research and studies show that in order to get the benefits of walking, mental, physical, that you only need to do about 7,000 steps per day to get that maximum benefit. And then every benefit you have after that, it's kind of like a law of diminishing returns where every step beyond that 7,000, it gives you a little bit more benefit, but the most of the benefit comes from those first 7,000 steps. So 10,000 steps, in doing so, I'm getting the bulk of the benefit. So long as I'm consistent in the kitchen, I'll keep losing weight. But as it pertains to anything is infinitely better than nothing. I mean, think about it. If you're someone who gets their exercise from going for a light jog every day, but one particular morning you're extremely sore, you're unmotivated, you say, you know what, I'm going to take this entire day off and maybe tomorrow off too. Well, what if you were to say to yourself, I'm going to go for a 30-minute walk instead of doing an hour jog? 30-minute walk still carries a myriad of benefits. In 30 minutes, the average person can do about 3,000 steps, which is just shy of being halfway towards a 7,000 daily step goal to get those bulk of the benefits that come with walking. In my case, with the walking, I set the goal of 15,000 and I've come short of that goal, but I'm still averaging 10,000, just about. And yeah, there's days where I feel like I can't even hit the 7,000. And on those days, I still go out and I do something because I know doing something is better than doing nothing. Number two, environment and routines are an advantage. What I mean by environment is the world you've constructed around yourself, in particular, the world that is subject to change based on how you choose to design it. It's somebody who puts their schoolwork out right on the table or their desk, whatever they may have when they get home from school. They have it out in the open where they can see it. Some people might not even take their homework out of the bag. Which person do you think is more likely to at least get started on their assignments, at least get started on that project? If I want to get into reading more, but I have all my books in a library shelf stored in a closet, or let's say I just have my books out right in front of me, in which scenario do you think I'm more likely to actually pick up that book at some point over the course of the day? Of course, it's going to be having it in front of me, exposure. And so, what this can mean in an exercise sense, what it means for me is having my shoes ready by my bedroom door. So, when I get up in the morning and I want to do my steps, I want to get them done and over with some days. Other days, I'm excited and can't wait to do them and want to do as much as I can. In either case, no matter the situation, no matter what I'm feeling, the shoes are there waiting for me by the door. If I choose not to go, I literally have to pick them up and move them out of the way of the door to leave the room, and it makes me feel bad. Or I can throw them on and get ready, go outdoors, and once I'm out the doors, I'm fine. Once I'm outside of my apartment, it's full steam ahead. There's nothing stopping me. And it's also, you can like put your, I wouldn't recommend wearing shorts where I live because it's very cold, but having what you're going to wear, your exercise outfit ready and available completely, so that when you wake up, you're ready to go exercise right away. Have it somewhere where you could get it. That's what I mean by the environment. And then routines. It's easier to do something when you do it consistently. A habit is a behavior that we don't even have to think about. It's a behavior that we perform automatically. Now, there's different scientific analyses on how long it takes for an action or behavior to actually become a habit. Some will say that once you do something 21 times, then it becomes a habit. Others will say it's much more. Some will say it depends on what kind of habit you're trying to develop. Well, in either case, we know that habits do work. Routines do work. My routine, I wake up in the morning, throw my exercise shoes on, and the first thing I do is I walk to go get coffee from a local convenience store. It's $1.29. I go with exact change. Unless I don't have change, then I use my card, but I usually have exact change. And then I go home, enjoy my coffee, and I'll have my coffee by my side. I'll read for a little bit, or in some cases, I'll listen to a podcast for a little bit. There's different things that I do. I have a vocabulary card deck that I'm using on and off to try and add new words into my vocabulary and understanding. So if I encounter them, I know what they mean. Different things that I do. But then once I'm done reading, once I'm done listening to some of that podcast, once I'm done drilling some vocabulary words, I go back outside to do the remainder of my steps, and then I come back in, and it's very methodical. Every single day, my steps are done at approximately the same time. So if I'm waking up at 7, I usually have my steps done by 10:30, 11 o'clock, depending on how long I end up reading during that intermission. If I wake up later in the day, which does happen sometimes, then it will be a little bit later in the day. But I feel optimal. I feel at my best when I'm doing it at a consistent time frame and trying to stay within the bounds of a certain time range. So having routines can be extremely beneficial. I'd highly recommend that you find a routine that works for you. It could be, I'm going to walk to this particular tree, and I'm going to start walking towards that particular tree at this time every day. And after I walk to that particular tree, I'm going to come home, enjoy a break. I'm going to sip tea and listen to music for 30 minutes. And then after I sip tea and listen to music for 30 minutes, I'm going to go back out to walk to that tree again, and then walk home, and then be done for the day. Whatever it may be. But develop a routine. Have specific elements in your routine that you can incorporate into becoming normalized. You want a sense of normalcy here. You want this to be so accustomed to in your brain that it just feels natural. It feels like habit. That's what I've gotten, at least with my step program thus far. Third and final thing, thinking about the big picture. There's going to be days where you don't want to do this anymore. There's going to be times where you want to stop, where you're going to think about all the other things that you could be doing other than working out. Why do I want to get in shape? Why should I care what other people want? Why should I want to be healthy? I feel fine the way I am, and whatever it may be. This is too challenging. It's too time consuming. I want more time for my schoolwork. I want more time to pick up more hours at work. I want more time to just relax, and this is very stressful to me. Well, when you think about the big picture, it's very motivating. When I think about the big picture, what it means in my mind is, think about how much better you'll be walking to class, not being out of breath all the time. Think about how much better you'll be being able to jog a mile straight without stopping once again. Think about how much better you'll be and all the compliments you'll receive for all the progress you made on losing weight. Think about how much better you'll feel. Think about how much your body will thank you. Think about how much your doctor will be proud. I don't have a daughter or anybody, but think about how proud your doctor will be if you lose that weight. Thinking about the big picture can motivate us in those smaller incremental periods of time, those ephemeral moments of time, to keep on going, to keep on persisting. Because folks, I say this all the time, but nothing in this world can take the place of persistence. It's a quote by Calvin Coolidge. So stay persistent, be determined, think about the big picture, evaluate your environment, in your routines. And remember, some is better than nothing. Anything is infinitely better than nothing. With that being said, if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button. If you are a returning viewer, or if you're new and you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button so that more people can see this video. Leave a comment. I love to hear your thoughts. What motivates you to stick to an exercise regimen? How do you exercise through depression? Because I know it's easier said than done. Love, light, and tranquility to all.